Are we in that period of selling the rallies, or are we back to buying the dips? I don't know.
I think we're.
Well, before we get started, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It really helps my channel, so don't forget to leave me a like. What's going on, guys? It's Investing Hustler here, and today I have Kevin from Cyberworld. How's it going, Kevin?
It's going good.
So Jim Cramer posted a video not too long ago saying that if you're not buying, you're going to regret it because everything in stocks are too cheap right now. So what do you think? Do you agree with that statement? Do you think stocks are too cheap right now? You think it's a perfect buy the dip opportunity, or do you think it's going to get worse?
I honestly believe that, I know that for a fact that we are in a big giant bubble. There's lots of problems. There's debt. There's the United States is in a huge debt bubble. The world, China is in a recession. Russia is in a recession. Germany is in a recession. France is trying to do bank runs. There's a lot of problems around this world. Canada is kind of in a recession. I don't know about Toronto. What do you think about Toronto right now? You think Toronto is somewhat in a recession, or not really?
I think Toronto just has too much life. It doesn't look like it's in a recession. There's people still going shopping. There's people still living life normally. I'm in Toronto, and I'm not broke, but so it all depends on who you're talking about.
Okay, question here. Were you in Toronto in 2008, 2007, 2008?
Yeah, it was.
What was Toronto like in 2008, 2007, 2008? Was it like did you notice anything when things were bad, or no?
At that point, I think everyone knew a recession. It was a recession, and people, if they didn't have jobs, they would always be like, "Oh, it's a recession. The recession is real," this and that. I think at that time, I don't think I had as much money, or it was, but I don't know. It didn't feel like it was a crash. It didn't really feel that bad, but feel a lot different than it does now. Right now, it doesn't feel like anything's wrong at all. But back then, it kind of felt like we were in a recession. Like we had that.
Jobs were hard to get, right?
What's that?
Jobs were hard to get back then?
Exactly. Jobs were hard to get. I wasn't self-employed at that time. I think there were times when I wasn't working either. So it did feel a lot different than it does now.
Okay, so right now it's not too bad in Toronto.
Toronto, it doesn't feel like a recession. It's like everything, stores are full, restaurants are full, downtown, people are still clubbing. It feels like a busy nightlife, a busy city. So it does not feel like a recession.
I see. Okay, well, I guess my theory of Canada in recession is not really that.
No one knows for sure. No one can predict a crash. The only thing we have is history. If history repeats itself, then we're overdue. But hopefully we don't have a crash. Maybe that was the crash. Maybe that was just like a quick little correction, and now we're going to have a nice bull run.
Well,
Beginning of worse things to come.
Donald Trump, when he was being elected as president, he was thinking that, he was saying that the stock market is in a big fat bubble. And now he's trying to save the stock market because he knows that it's in a bubble, and he's trying to become president again. So he's trying to do whatever he can to save the stock market. That's what I think. Anyways, I don't know.
Anything's possible at this point. So yeah, we might as well just play the video about what Jim Cramer says about the market. So he's actually talking about Citigroup stock, and this title is Jim Cramer, there's no reason to buy or sell Citigroup. So let's just play this video real quick.
First out of the box.
Look, everyone knew that this was going to be bad. Everything else is pretty good. The numbers are in line. I don't know anyone who really felt that this was going to be a great quarter. They've got to start showing revenue growth. I like the fact that Value Act is trying to make things happen there. But the main thing is it's just so darn cheap, there's no reason to sell it. Can't think of a reason to buy it other than the fact that it's cheap. And we know that there's a lot of stocks that are now cheap. I mean, the market's selling it about 14 times forward earnings, and no one seems to want to do anything, Joe. And yet I keep thinking the market's too cheap to ignore. Let it come back a little bit and then buy.
So I just wonder what's going to happen over the next 4 weeks with earnings. Whether are we in that period of selling the rallies, or are we back to buying the dips? I don't know.
I think we're dip buying. I think that we had the bear market. I know that it was just regardless of correction. There are too many stocks that are just too cheap. There's a couple of outliers, obviously, but Joe, this is our kind of market. And if we get a trade deal, you're going to say, why did I sell Citi? Why did I sell Micron? because the trade deal could be within reach. And I think that the numbers we got out of China last night shows, what they needed as much or more than we do. And I think that's really what we should be thinking about at all times.
So yeah, he just said that everything's too cheap. The one guy questioned him, "Are we selling the rallies, buying the dips?" And he did say that it's time to buy the dip. But Jim Cramer's a love-hate kind of guy. Some people love him, some people hate him.
I think that Jim Cramer's been in the market for a long time, and I did hear him in November. He's saying that we're in a bear market. People would be wishing that they would sell now instead of in December.
Yeah.
And now he's saying that we're out of a bear market. Could be right. He's betting it all on the trade war, though. He's saying that if trade wars go well, we could be out of the bear market. And it's kind of funny because I made a video not too long ago saying that we could get out of the bear market if Donald Trump signed. Like, we could be in the shortest bear market in history if Donald Trump signs that bill.
Yeah.
So, they're not signing the bill, does a trade war with China, like, actually succeed at a good agreement between the two countries of a good trade war agreement.
At the end of the day, it's a 50-50 chance. No one knows for sure. The possibility of the markets getting worse, it's still possible. And at the same time, it could get better.
Right now, I gambled on the stock market crash. I sold out my wheat stocks and my Aurora stocks. Most of it, I still have about 20,000 shares left. And I'm kind of kicking myself because Aurora is not going down and it's going up. But my feeling is that in the future, prices will correct itself. I think we're in a temporary rally for all the wheat market right now. But I'm assuming these prices will pull back eventually. At least that's all I can do is hope. But according to what goes up must come down. Right now, it's going up massively. So eventually, that massive run is going to be back down.
Aurora is at $9 right now. They've been on a nice little rally.
Yeah, they're hitting resistance level at $9, but a piece of news tomorrow could break it. If we compare Canopy to Aurora should be trading a lot higher than $9 because Canopy is already trading at almost $60, and Aurora should be at least $10 ish, just to be kind of on par with Canopy. But the stock market always don't work out like the way you want it to. It's always
it's unpredictable.
So, but you know what? I gamble on a stock market crash. I sold out my stock, and I'll have to live with the consequences of the stock rising. I mean, it could correct itself, and I could buy back in, or it could never go back down to $8 again and stays $12 for the rest of his life, or higher, $15 or $20. I mean, logically, it doesn't make any sense, but I guess it's possible, right?
Yeah, well, they have a market cap of $8.45 billion, and they're predicted to make a $50 million gross revenue next quarter, right, or this quarter.
But they're not going to be profitable. They're going to be losing a little bit of money. I mean, I know they sold a little bit of T-God stock, so that unrealized gain might help them not push into the negative number. They might push into the positive number and not lose money on the earnings report. But I don't know. It's just I think the quarters to look out for is probably going to be in the summertime. The summertime is when the quarter reports are going to look really good. That's what I believe. But right now, it's not looking too good for me because I see all those strong buys, and I don't. And I used to have over 100,000 shares or 160,000 shares of Aurora. Now I'm down to 20,000 shares. It makes me a little disappointed in myself for gambling on a stock market crash when it might not happen anymore.
Well, at least you collected profits, and at least you still have some shares. That's the way I'm looking at it right now. I collect profits. I've made over 10K off Aurora. Obviously not as much as you, but I'm still holding on to my position in Aurora, and I'll hold on to that position long term if I have to. And no matter what, we'll still see some profits. And if it goes down, I'll be happy I collected my gains. So it's kind of a win-win situation. You can never get it 100% right, so that's why I kind of do 50-50. And no matter what happens, I'll be in a position where I'm either making money or I could buy more shares. So, but yeah, Aurora is a buy, a strong buy, and I think after their earnings, they probably will push forward. And who knows?
No, I believe that after the earnings, I think this is my theory behind cannabis stocks, right? I'm not gonna be correct all the time, but I believe that cannabis stocks are gonna decline in February. I think once all the earnings is done, the market is gonna start declining because stocks don't always go up. They have to go down before they go up, because they always make lows before they make highs, right? Is that how like it kind of works? So my theory is in February it's gonna start pulling back, and then around maybe June, July, that's when the stock starts rallying back for the really strong earnings around June to July. That's just a theory,
they
though.
went up when they announced that they're estimated to make around 50 to 55 million.
No, it went down that day. It went down that day. That day it went down.
The next day it went up, and I don't
The,
know.
the only reason why Aurora is moving up right now is because of Canopy. Canopy is pulling Aurora stock with it because Aurora is considered the second biggest company in the Canadian industry. Well, I guess Kronos might be considered a second now because Kronos has like that $2 billion from Artura. But the point is Aurora is considered a big player, and the fact that Canopy is rising so much, it wouldn't make any sense for Aurora stock to not rise with Canopy stock. It just would not make any sense. So the market had to rally both stocks up in order to make.
Well, everyone has their own point of view. They went down when they announced that 55 million, but the next day and pretty much ever since that they did rally. Yes,
Yeah, but it's mostly on Canopy though. That's the only reason why they're rallying. They're rallying because Canopy is rising.
It can't just go up. Well, it could because at one point when Canopy got that Constellation deal, Aurora didn't run with them. Aurora was like,
oh, Aurora ran with them. Aurora just
not as much. No, like I was saying, if history does repeat itself, last year Canopy did crash right before February. They had a nice run in the beginning of the year, and Aurora ran all the way up to $15.20 on January. I doubt that's going to happen this year, but it does seem to be repeating itself. They are having
it does. The chart kind of looks very similar. Like this little rise up looks like the small rise up over here.
Yeah, exactly. So it looks like they're having a small little rise like they did here. So like right here, it might be the beginning of a big push forward. Who knows? Or this could be it. Who knows how high this will push? But if history does repeat itself, it might run up. I don't think it'll run up to 15, but
yeah, I don't know. Like that,
never know.
That rise would have to be like, it's too soon. It's too soon for the stock to rise that high, in my opinion.
Unless it gets like a deal, like a brand deal, like with a big brand name.
Coke.
Who knows who it will be? But then, if history repeats itself, it will be followed by a big crash. So far, it seems to be having that nice little run, and I guess the only way we can find out is just to wait and see. Nothing is 100%. We're just here to talk about it, give our opinions, give our predictions. Everyone's encouraged to do their own homework, their own due diligence.
Stocks that run up hard will always have to fall hard too. It's just the way the market works.
What goes up must come down. Well, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave us a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that notification bell and smash that subscribe button. Only time will tell what's going to happen to Aurora. Don't forget to do your own homework. This is strictly for educational and entertainment purposes. So always do your own due diligence. And that's it for now, guys. Bye-bye.